Welcome to NASDAQ Trade Talks. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at NASDAQ. Joining me at the Market Site in Times Square, we have Brian Joyce. He's the Managing Director on NASDAQ's Market Intelligence Desk with our midday update on this Thanksgiving Eve. Brian, it's great to have you with me as always. And I'll tell you what, for a bull, you've got a lot to be thankful for over the past 6 weeks.
Absolutely. The markets are making new highs once again today. Everyone seems to be participating in the rally. Everyone maybe except for energy, but the small caps, the large caps, it doesn't matter shapes and sizes, everyone's doing well.
Right, and we got some economic data in this morning, GDP, which came in better than expected. That probably lends to the consumer story.
Yeah, we had a lot of economic data this morning. Many data points. Personal consumption was better. Inflationary numbers were low, which was nice to see. And GDP, as you mentioned, came in better than expected as well.
All right, let's take a look at our first chart here. This is consumer discretionary, which is helping to lead the way, again, lending to that strength in the consumer story.
Yeah, so the story this year, in the first half of the year of 2019, technology and consumer discretionary were the leading cyclical sectors in the market. The consumer discretionary index, as you can see, was up 38% to the June high. And then as the overall market in August had corrected, we saw a big pullback across the board in all sectors, but eventually things turned around in September. Technology led the way up and resumed its leadership role, but consumer discretionary lagged behind. And so it's now been in a 4-month corrective price action here, kind of a triangle pattern. And what we're seeing over the last 4 days, it's on a 4-day winning streak. And then today we did have some positive economic data. Maybe that's the reason why, but regardless, it's breaking out from that declining trend line. And to me, it looks like this could be potentially the start of a new uptrend.
All right, well, we'll see if Black Friday and Cyber Monday confirm what's happening here on the charts. Let's take a look at the Russell. I want to go back to what you were looking at last week with this particular setup, because that move it had over, 2.1%? It was up yesterday. You were taking a look at that last week.
Yeah, so it had a big move on Monday, a lot of buzz about it. And, it's a one-day move. Week to date, it's up 3%, the Russell 2000, which is nice, but it's not anything historic. We saw similar moves, or we saw even greater moves within the last couple of months. But the buzz this time was different. And the reason, I think, is because of the technicals and what's been going on. So 1 week ago, we said now could be the time for small caps. And the reason we wrote about that, and we thought this time could be different, is, as you can see, it made a high back in February, and then for the ensuing 9 months, it's been trading in a sideways range. So corrective price action, working off overbought technicals from the strong rebound early in the first couple of months. But what was different in early November when we got back to that 1600 resistance level, which at that point is a clearly defined resistance level, is two things: breadth and momentum. So for breadth, we look at the percentage of the index, the members making fresh 6-month highs, and we could see in early November that finally started getting above that 8-9% level and hit 12, 13, 14%. So we're seeing many, many more companies making new 6-month highs. And if you look at the 12-month highs, a similar kind of pattern. All of a sudden, more and more companies are breaking out to new 52-week highs. And so good breadth there. Even though price is holding there steady, underneath the surface, breadth is getting better. And then momentum. So the daily RSI also made a new 52-week high in the beginning of the month. So you got strong breadth, strong momentum. Both of those indicators can oftentimes lead price. At the end of the day, however, price is king. So let's take a look at price. We could see right now, the last 2 weeks, price has been consolidating over in a sideways range. I think we just moved ahead a little bit to what it looks like now. But you can see the prior 2 weeks, it moved in a sideways range. The 2 or 3 times before that, when it hit this level, it pulled back sharply, about 8% pullbacks in May, in August, and in September, October. This time what was different is it held up there and went sideways. And so all of those things combined made us think that, maybe this time it's gearing up to make the breakout, which happened on Monday, and now we're seeing 2 days of upside follow-through. And I think we'll likely see that kind of follow-through hopefully through the end of the year.
All right, let's go to our next chart. This is Russell 2000. You take a look at the weekly so you can get a little bit more of a longer-term outlook.
Right, so what we see here is a zoomed-out view, filters out the noise, and so that range that we've been seeing the last 9 months is about 140 points down from support up until that resistance. So to come up with a target as to where we think this could go, we just add that to the top of the range, which takes us almost to exactly the 2018 high, which is up about 8% from where the breakout occurred. So, I think at a minimum, that's where we're going to go. And, obviously things can change in 2020. There's always a lot of macro factors, geopolitical factors that could change. Central banks, who knows? We have a new ECB head that's coming in just a couple of weeks with her first meeting, Christine Lagarde. And so, that could always be a factor on global interest rates, and which would certainly trickle down to all areas.
Yeah,
of the economy.
going into an election year, I'm sure we're going to have plenty to talk about. Thank you as always
Yes.
for joining us on Trade Talks. And thank you for joining me throughout the week. We wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving. Catch me back here Friday, November 29th. We'll be kicking off special Black Friday coverage at 10 a.m. Eastern.